11.01. So this is the tool what you have to install onto your laptops or onto your system. Okay. So after that, after it get installed completely, it will ask for restart your computer. You can go for restart. Then how to open it? You have to go to into a command prompt. Okay, you have to go to a command prompt, multi-sim license generator video. Okay, you have to go into this command prompt. Please note down these points or take a screenshot. Okay, it is NI Design Suite 11.0.1. So after installation, it will ask for a restart. So before that, before installation, you shall go for open a command prompt. There you can see here in the run window. Okay, in the run window, you have to write a license generator, select a license type. Okay, I'll show you once again on the online, no need to worry. Okay, so these are the steps here. License type, then click on start button, program, all this national instruments, NI license manager options. You have to check mark all. So select a package here. File from the folder license generator is located. You have to select these all requirements during the installation. Okay, it will ask during the installation, you have to check mark the all options. So if you don't want to override, select yes, otherwise you can avoid this. So close all the window. After installation, in the start button, you'll be having this type available. So once that is available, you can go for the usage of software. The usage of the software. Okay. So this is what the multi-sim tells you. Okay. I shall post this uh, steps for installation. Okay, in the WhatsApp group, you can just go through these steps and you can try to install the things. Okay, and I will send all the snapshots there. Whatever the snapshots are required for installation of this multi-sim, you can go there and you can follow those methods there. Okay. One second. Okay, we'll do one thing. I'll just send you this all details of step installation and all. You can just check it on your system. I don't know if there is some problem for installation. Otherwise, I could have shown you to install it directly on the live. Okay. So let us start with the experiments here. I will show you the details of the experiment first. What are the experiments we are going to do? So this is the lab manual, what we are referring here. So as I have told already, there are part A and part B. Okay, part B is of software simulation and part A is of hardware. The discrete components and we have to perform these experiments there. Okay, so let us move on with the first experiment. Yes, so here is the first experiment. Okay, so the first experiment here we are using is design, setup and plot the frequency response of common source JFET and MOSFET amplifier and obtain the bandwidth of that. So here we are going to perform an experiment on JFET. Okay, that is junction field effect transistor, or we are using MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Either of one component we are using and we are doing the experiment. So for your this thing availability in the laboratory, we will be using JFET and we will be doing the experiments. Okay, so you can see here the JFET. The name of the transistor is BFW10. Okay, so this is the transistor we are using here, BFW10. I'll write here. The aim of the experiment is aim of the experiment. Aim of the experiment is to set up and plot frequency response of common source JFET and MOSFET. Okay, so this is the aim of the experiment here, what we are doing. So the components we are using here is JFET BFW resistor of 180 80 ohms, 1 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm. These are the components required. Capacitor 47 microfarads and 0.1 microfarad. So this 47 microfarad is a electrolyte capacitor and 0.1 is of ceramic capacitor and 0.047 is of again electrolyte capacitor what we will be using. So power, we need a power supply here of 10 to 3. We need a power supply and we need a signal generator in the range of 10 hertz to 3 megahertz generator. Then CRO for fetching the output, connecting wires, breadboard, everything, all these things. So let us see the design part of this. So for a transistor, okay, you can see here for a transistor, BFW, 10 junction FET specifications are as follow. So these specifications will be given for you. So you have to calculate the remaining parameters and then you have to perform the experiments here. Okay, so I am showing here how the values are calculated here. You can see. Okay, so VDS is nothing but voltage across drain and source, maximum voltage across drain and source terminal. VGS is nothing but VGS off is nothing but when the gate terminal is in off, that is the voltage across source and gate terminal when the gate is in off condition. IDSS, here it is given. IDSS is nothing but drain to source minimum current. Okay, the minimum current which is flowing from drain to source terminal. And IDSS max is nothing but the maximum current which is flowing from drain to source terminal again. So we have to choose a value here, that is IDS into minimum plus maximum divided by 2. Okay, so it is the IDS minimum plus IDS maximum divided by 2. So that is nothing but it is given here. You can see it is 8 milliampere plus 20 milliampere divided by 2. It is. So you will be getting IDSS, total IDSS value as 14 milliampere. So VP is nothing but a peak voltage, which is nothing but maximum divided by 2. So maximum divided by 2, that is given by 4 volt, and GM is the transconductance. So what we have derived the equation today in the theory class, that is 3.5 to 6.5 this thing value, and these quiescent conditions they'll be giving here, that is IDQ is nothing but the drain current at Q point. IDSS is nothing but a drain current flowing as a current flowing from drain to source terminal. Okay, so all these value they'll be giving here. What you have to do here is you have to fill those values and you have to calculate the components, different parameters here. So you can see I have written here it is RS is equals to mod of VP divided by IDQ. So substitute all those values, you will be getting RS value. With this choice of RS, we are obtaining the VS value again. You know here that is VS is equals to RS into IDQ. All these values are given here. Let you have to assume this. Let IDQ, all this you can check here. All this value you have to substitute and you have to calculate these values. So once you do this, you'll be calculating the value of RS and you'll be calculating the value of drain resistor and a source resistance. So once you get that, RG you can choose, that is gate resistance, you can choose it as a 1 mega ohm. 1 mega ohm. Okay, so with this you are going to find out the different parameters here, and then you are going to apply the input voltage. Okay, so basically what we are doing here, what is the aim? We have to design it, set up and find the frequency response, how the frequency response is. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram here and you'll be getting a frequency response like this. Okay, you'll be getting a frequency response like this. So I'll show you how is the working of this circuit diagram. Once we understand this working of the circuit diagram, then we can do the circuit in a multisim, what we call it as in a multisim tool. Okay, I'll just copy this and I'll paste this in a paint. Okay, you can see here I had just pasted that circuit diagram. Now we shall see how it is implemented or how the circuit works. Can you able to see the circuit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see here. Now this is the JFET. This is the JFET. So always remember it is a junction. JFET means junction field effect transistor. Okay, junction field effect transistor. Why it is called as a junction? It is called as a junction because the effect is due to the effect is due to the existence of the effect is due to the existence of two junctions there. Two junctions there. Okay, JFET. So these junctions are playing very important role in conduction of this transistor. Okay, so this JFET has three terminals. Three terminals. So what are those terminals? That is drain, source and gate. Drain, source and gate. The symbol of that you can see here at the bottom. So there will be a notch always here. So with this notch, what you have to do, you have to move clockwise. You have to move clockwise with the symbol of the notch. Then the first terminal you will be coming across is source. Then second terminal is drain. Third terminal is gate and last will be shield. Okay, sometimes this is available in the component and sometimes it is not available. Okay, so if it is available, don't do any connections to that. You just leave it off. Okay, so only we require here is these three terminals. What is that? Source, drain and gate. So hold that component facing towards you, see the notch, and from the notch you move clockwise. So you'll be having source, drain and gate. So this source, drain and gate. So drain is always acting as a emitter. In JFET, drain is nothing but it is similar to emitter. It is very similar to emitter. And source is very similar to, sorry, drain is very similar to collector. Okay, just please make a correction here. Drain is similar to collector. Drain is very similar to collector. Source is very similar to emitter. And gate is nothing but base. Okay. So these are the three important terminal. So likewise, how the collector was the terminal wherein it is supposed to collect all the electrons and holes during the biasing or during the forward biasing or during the reverse biasing, whatever you are doing with respect to the transistor. Okay, so with respect to that, the collector is the terminal which is going to collect all the uh, uh, ions or all the electrons and holes which are emitted by the source terminal. Okay, during the biasing operation. Now after that, so the drain also does the same work here as the collector. So during its manufacture, we see that all these three terminals are having different dimensions here. Okay, so even in the BJT also we are in the transistor, we see that there is a manufacturing like this. So here we see that there is a emitter with more heavily doped, and there is a base with lightly doped, and a collector which is moderately doped. Sorry, lightly doped, and collector which is moderately doped. So always we see that this base terminal is thin and this is smaller compared to collector. That is, emitter is smaller compared to collector, because collector is bigger because it is going to collect all the entire holes and electrons which are being transmitted or which are being tunneled during the biasing conditions. Similarly, here in this JFET, drain is also going to does the same operation. Drain is also going to do the same operation. It is going to collect all the electrons and holes which are responsible for biasing of this JFET. Similarly, source is nothing but it is going to emit the source. It is going to emit the emit electrons and holes again. And gate is the only terminal here which is going to control the biasing condition, like base. Okay, it is just like a wall. I had given one example in the last class, like a gate is this terminal, just like a wall of a tap, just like a wall of a tap. So this is gate, this is source, and this is drain here. Okay, you can see here I'm marking with the red color. This is source. Okay, this is gate, and this is drain. So whatever the water flow is there through this source terminal and it is being collected in the drain, okay, and the flow of that water is being controlled by this gate terminal. That is nothing but it is acting as a wall. Now, after this, what happens here? Okay, you can just see here. I'm going to apply input signal here, a set input signal. So this is going to be set here, maybe 10 volt, maybe 20 volt, as desired or as given in the problem or as given in the statement. So maybe sometimes you are going to set it as 10 volt peak to peak, or maybe 20 volt peak to peak. So however it is required, you can set the input. So this input is being set with the help of signal generator. Okay, signal generator. So initially I have told in the requirement, that is we are going to use a signal generator that is of 1 megahertz, in the range of 1 megahertz to 3 megahertz we are using. Means within this range the transistor is getting biased here. Okay, 1 megahertz. So once we apply that, so we are going to apply that input signal to this capacitor. Okay, so these are called as this capacitor, that is CC1 and CC2 are nothing but they are called as a coupling capacitor. Coupling capacitor. These are called as a coupling capacitors. So the name itself tells you coupling capacitor means what? It is going to couple something. Okay, it is going to couple something. Couple means what? Joining. Couple means connecting. So here this coupling capacitor, that is CC1, is responsible for coupling this input to the base terminal. Okay, for coupling this input to the base terminal. Means it is going to provide this input voltage to this gate terminal. Okay, so that now I need to amplify this signal. I need to amplify this input signal. That is, if it is of 10 volt, then I have to amplify it and I have to get it for 20 volt something. You assume like that. Okay, you assume like that. So this is what I want to amplify. Now with this input I have to check it out for what frequency range the JFET is responding. For what frequency range the JFET is responding. So here you can see I am going to apply this input. So with the help of this coupling capacitor, the input is being applied to the gate terminal. Now after I apply the input to the gate terminal, what happens here? I'll be connecting this so that this transistor will start biasing. So this, then these two resistance, okay, that is RS resistance and CS capacitance. Okay, these two components are nothing but, which is of value 330 and 47 microfarads. They are called as a stray components. Stray components. STRAY. Stray components. So what do you mean by the stray components? Stray components are nothing but they are bypassing. Okay, this resistance. Okay, this resistance is protecting the entire terminal or the source terminal of this JFET. Okay, source terminal of this JFET. So how it is going to protect? If at all there are any excess signal, if at all there are any excess signal which are flowing or excess input voltage which is flowing across this gate, across this JFET, will be bypassed to the ground, will be bypassed to the ground through this capacitor CS. Okay, will be bypassed to the ground. Okay, we can see here this I have connected here to the ground terminal. Okay, I have connected here to the ground terminal. So all the excess voltage which is not required by this JFET are being emitted or are being transformed to the gate, so to the ground terminal through this capacitor. Okay, so this is that is the reason why we are going to connect this capacitor there. And this is nothing but a coupling capacitor C2. So this coupling capacitor C2 is nothing but, suppose if I want to connect the same circuit in the second stage here. So assume like this is stage 1, and I want to connect the same circuit for the second stage. Then I need one more circuit with the same components. So that circuit will be connected through this coupling capacitor for the next stage. Means this coupling capacitor is used to connect the output to the next stage, which is acting as the input for the stage 2. Okay, which is acting as the input for the stage 2. So this is the capacitor, coupling capacitor C2, what we are connecting. Okay, so this is output is being connected here. Output is connected to the next stage. Output is connected to the next stage. Output is connected to the next stage. So that this output is acting as the input to the next stage or next circuit. And RL, okay, RL is nothing but it is a load resistance. It is a load resistance used across the load always. So this load resistance is used to protect the load. Suppose if you are connecting anything, any mic or any speaker here, okay, or any fan, any regulator, anything or any LED, if you are connecting across this output terminal B0, okay, across this you are connecting any load devices. So to protect that load devices, we are using this load resistance RL. So since I am not connecting anything here at the output, okay, I'm not connecting anything to the output. So, but I am measuring this output across CRO. So CRO here is acting as a output device. CRO is acting as a output device. So this is what about the circuit. Okay, this is what about the circuit. Then here we are connecting this input voltage VDD. This is the biasing voltage. This is the biasing voltage which is connected to the JFET in order to bias the transistor. That is nothing but we call it as a constant DC voltage. Constant DC voltage. Constant DC voltage we are connecting. So this is what about the circuit diagram. Okay, so the next part here you can see I'm going to show here. So we are going to note down these values here. Once I connect all the circuit diagrams and I provide the input. So we are assuming some of the practical input, practical voltages here, that is VDD, VRD, VDS, VS, IDQ, VGS. Okay, these we are assuming some values here, and after doing the connections, we are noting down the practical value. Okay, so the procedure is there here. So we shall see that procedure once we start doing the practical. Okay, so different frequency ranges or at different frequencies we need to find out the responses here. So you can see here this is how we need to obtain the nature of graph. Okay, this is what we have to obtain the nature of graph. So initially as I go on, you can see here as you can see the pointer here. So at the A terminal. So initially as I go on increasing the input voltage, okay, or as I go on increasing the frequency, you can see it is a frequency versus gain graph. AV is nothing but a gain. So as I go on increasing the frequency, initially the gain is slowly increasing. The gain is slowly increasing. So we call it as a at lower frequency. So at lower frequency, the gain is very less, or it is linearly increasing, what I can call. Then after that, if I go on again, if I continue the increasing the frequency, then what happens? The gain remains constant here. That is, we refer it as a mid frequency or middle frequency. Okay, so mid frequency or middle frequency. So this is what about a middle frequency. So again, after some value, if I still go on increasing the frequency, then what happens? The gain will start reducing again. You can see the graph is coming down. Okay, you can see that graph is coming down here. Means what I wanted to tell here is, I'll just plot that. I'll just draw that. Okay, you can see here. So if this is my graph, okay, if this is the graph here, that is frequency graph, and this is versus gain, frequency versus gain. Okay, so frequency, where I am, how I am going to increase this frequency, I am increasing through a signal generator. Through a signal generator, I am changing the frequency. Okay, slowly I am going to change the frequency. So at lower frequency, what is happening? The gain is slowly increasing. So at some point, you can take at this point. So at some point, the gain is slowly increasing. After that, again, what I'll do, I go on simply increasing the input frequency here. So then I get a constant gain here. So this point, up to this point, we refer it as a LF range, means low frequency range. Then the gain where it is constant is referred as MF range, means it is middle frequency. So up to certain value, what happens? The gain remains constant here. Then the gain starts decreasing again with the increase in frequency. With the increase in frequency. So at this point, I find that the gain is reducing. So this is, we call it as HF range, means high frequency range. This is low frequency, middle frequency, and this is low frequency. So two different ranges of frequencies we are observing here. Low frequency, middle frequency, and higher frequency. So at low frequency, we see that the gain is increasing linearly. So at middle frequency, we see that gain is remaining constant. And at high frequency, we see that the gain is decreasing slowly. So this is what the frequency response we have to observe. We have to observe after the connection. Okay, after the connections, we have to observe this. So these two frequencies, we get it as F1 and F2. We can also call it as FL, and we can also call it as FH, high frequency, low frequency. Now, the difference of this F bandwidth, that is frequency bandwidth, is given by FL minus FH, or it can be FH minus FL, either of one. Both are same. So if I take the difference here, then I'll be getting a perfect bandwidth. Perfect bandwidth at which the JFET is responding. So this is what we have to observe there. Okay. So I hope this is clear with you people. So is this point clear? You got the explanation for the circuit diagram what I have drawn? So this is, I'm going to explain this once again. No need to worry. Once I start with the tool, there I'll explain it once again. Okay, so time being, you just understand what is the thing we are going to observe here. We are going to observe the frequency response. This is the experiment number 1, what we are seeing. Okay, experiment number 1. So we are going to set up the circuit diagram. We are going to plot the frequencies, and we are going to make the JFET to operate as an amplifier, and then we are obtaining the bandwidth here. Okay. So I'll do one thing with this. I shall end up the lab session. Okay. And I will cover some theory part now. Is it okay, everyone? Yes.